So when I left that conference, I looked at my wife. I said, babe, what do you think about that conference? She said, it's real nice. I said, great, because I'm going to quit my job.
Hey, bro.
I'm doing well. How are you doing, John?
I love it, man. I'm doing good. I could listen to you talk forever, just so you know.
Yeah.
Love the accent, and you're funny as hell and informative and know your stuff.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
It's a southern drawl, what I tell people. Good old Mississippi.
You got it heavy too. I love it. I love it. You're still there, right? That's where you still live?
No, I live in Memphis now.
Okay.
Yeah, I left Mississippi back in 1999. So
got it.
And yeah, it's been a while.
Dang. I grew up in Boston, but I've been in the South for 20 years, and they took my Boston accent away. You hear some words every now and again, but
yeah,
you know, when I go home, all they hear is Southern, and in the South, they know I ain't from the South too, and it's confusing for everybody.
Man, imagine having a Mississippi accent and Louisiana, because that's what I have. Yeah. It's a combination.
Combo. I love it. Well, John is a beast. Come from a, I guess, corporate world background, similar to me in a sense. Working for people for a while, got into the insurance industry. Now with Symmetry, run your own agency, sell a bunch of insurance, and certainly watch you teaching a lot of people, building your brand, out speaking at events, doing lots of big things. So
yeah,
would love for you to kind of start sharing some of certainly the journey. But ultimately I do want to help people learn like actual nuts and bolts about selling. I love to give people takeaways that they can actually implement. So we'll get into that, but just for, the story part, if you don't mind, give them a little background on how you got into insurance. And actually, I don't even know the full story. I know some of it, but I don't know the full thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you know, I'm from Mississippi. This is my fourth state and my ninth city. Just trying to relocate. I came from retail, as a manager. Man. And if anybody ever worked in retail, relocation is the way to kind of climb the corporate ladder. So yeah, you always got to be willing to relocate every year or every 2 years. So I became like a nomad. Like every 2 years, I'm in a different city in a different state. But since 2010, I've been in Memphis. My last stint was with AT&T as one of their managers. So how I made a transition from corporate America over to insurance, I was just tired. As I mentioned before, I never had a place I called home. I kept relocating. And then once I got married and I started having children, I'm like, you know what? By the time my son goes to kindergarten, I will no longer be working for anyone else. I didn't know what type of business I want to get into, but I just knew at that time, like, I'm done relocating. I'm done trying to work, 50 hours a week, overworking and being underpaid. I needed a way out. And insurance just kind of fell into my lap. A young man came to my store one day. It was back in, I would say 2015, maybe 16. He comes out of the store. He's upset. He's trying to buy a cell phone. To make a long story short, I started helping him because as a manager, you don't get what you call willing to recommend surveys. As an employer, you do. So I saw he was already, upset. So I said, let me help him. I will help this guy. So once I helped him, I started asking questions. Because I saw you had a discount with AT&T. It was in real estate. I said, hey, I'm looking for a career change. Do that pay well in commercial real estate? He said, nah, they don't make no money. I said, okay. So I kept on helping him out. So I just started asking more questions. I said, hey, so who you buying this phone for? He says, my daughter. I'm like, who? Well, how many kids you have? So I got 4. I said, man, that's cool, man. I only have 1, but I would like to have more. I said, what about your wife? What does she do for a living? He said, she doesn't work. I said, wait a minute. You mean to tell me you have 4 kids and your wife do not work and you're not making any money in commercial real estate? Man, I just don't believe you. He said, no, seriously. I don't do commercial real estate anymore. I do insurance. He was working for Aflac, but he had the discount from commercial real estate. So he said, don't change my discount. I'm not going to change that. I said, okay. I said, insurance, man, whatever. And he left. And I never pursued it. It was about 3 years later, insurance came back around to me. And I said, you know what? Opportunities do not knock twice. So I need to look into this. And then I kind of, that's how I got to insurance. No, I had a young lady working with me at AT&T, and she was working with Primerica. And she introduced me to insurance. And I got my insurance license through that company. And then I pivoted to Signature Financial Group.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Calling the list versus leads, right?
Absolutely. And I tell everybody, I know a lot of people doing well with that company. So
same.
Yeah, it's okay.
It was preference. They all work. They all work. Yeah, it's just what do you like doing?
Absolutely. Success is universal, what I tell people. It's all the same. It just what kind of fits you and your core value that kind of resonates with you as an individual.
Yeah,
they all
makes sense. So did you jump from corporate to this full time? Did you transition? Did you just how'd that go?
So when it happening, so I go get my license through Primerica. My resume was going out to everybody, through ZipRecruiter. Yeah. And my mentor, Jason Hayes, he found my resume. He was working with Signature Financial Group. He passed away, unfortunately, now. But he calls me, and I was driving to AT&T. He said, "Yeah, I just got your resume. Came to an interview." I'm like, "Okay, let's talk about it." Sent him a couple of videos. It went well. The second interview, it was going well as well. He said, "If you're really serious about this, John, I need you to come to our conference." So I said, "Okay, well, when is the conference?" He said, "Next week." So man, that's a short notice. I said, "Okay, you not live in Memphis, right? So is it Nashville? Where's it gonna be at?" He says, "Raleigh, North Carolina."
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
I said, "You want me to drive 13 hours on a 5-day notice to go to a conference? I don't even know you." And he says, "Well, you can fly." So I said, "You got jokes." But he said something that kind of, sparked my interest. He said, "You've been on this phone with me for 20 minutes complaining about things that's not going well with the company and how you just stagnant and you hit your pinnacle. Yeah. And you know what they have to offer you. Why don't you come and see what we got to offer you? Then that way you can have an educated decision if you want to do this or not." That made sense to me. So my wife and I, we drove. We drove there, and I went to the conference, and I fell in love with what I heard. Because I heard people talking about making an impact and not making an income. Although they were making a lot of money, but it was not their focal point.
Yeah.
Second, I saw ordinary people just like me. That was not 6'4", muscular men or women. They were just ordinary people making an extraordinary lifestyle for themselves. That resonated. So when I left that conference, driving back on a Sunday, I looked at my wife. I said, "Babe, what do you think about that conference?" She said, "It's real nice." I said, "Great, because I'm going to quit my job." I dove right into it, full throttle. Okay. I gave them a 30-day notice. And then I just been doing this. Yeah.
I love it. Did insurance sales work perfectly at the beginning for you? Did you struggle? What was that like?
Oh man, that was a challenge, like all things. So the first 3 or 4 months, I'm doing well. I'm not the top producer with the company, but I have replaced my income, and that was my main focus. Replace my income, and then I started building my own business at the same time. So I started day one.
Right away.
Yep. Right away. Now what happened? I started hiring the wrong people. So around about the 8th month inside the business, I accrued about $17,000 worth of chargebacks from the agency. I didn't know anything about the business. I didn't know. Yeah. I didn't know chargeback rolled up to me. Yeah. Right. Because I'm thinking I didn't get $17,000 worth of overrides. How am I getting $17,000 worth of chargebacks? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. So I had to go back to AT&T. I had to work with them full time. Because I say if I could work for them full time, I could pay my mortgage. Yep. And I also had to work Signature full time as well. So when I got off work, I would change my clothes, and I just do Signature, pay out those chargebacks. And then I was done 9 months within that company, and I never went back. So it was ups and downs, success, failure, smiles, cries, starting back over, celebrating, the whole
What did you?
emotional roller coaster.
Yeah. What'd you learn that you messed up? Like, what'd you do looking back on it? Right. Cause it's like people always get funny, man. They're like, a roll up. I didn't see it coming. I'm like, only way you didn't see it coming because you didn't look at shit.
Yeah.
Like, you just did your business like this. Because they send 475 emails and 27 letters. And you know what I mean? So again, like looking back, what do you think the mistakes were that you made?
So one, knowing who I'm looking for, who I want to work with. That's the first thing. I didn't have any criteria back then. I was just excited. I was gung ho.
They're breathing.
If you breathing, come join me. All right. I was just killing my agency and killing my brain.
Yeah.
Two, well, what I started learning as well is that if you are working your business, you need to create a way. Well, I tell people now, if you got you write 5 applications a week, create a system. So then once chargeback happens, you're not in a hole. You have a separate savings account or a separate checking account designed for chargebacks and designed for taxes. So that's why I tell John now, create a business. Don't spend all your money. Because back then, if I make $1,000, commission, I'm spending $950.
100%.
That's where it was back then. And I didn't understand the business. I understood the sales, but not the business aspect of it.
Yeah. I see a mistake, dude. A lot of agents make. One thing I did well, only because I'm like, and it wasn't on purpose. I didn't think it through. I just got lucky. And I wasn't an accountant, I think what I see a lot of agents mess up, even agents have been around for a long time, dude. And every time I talk about this, I get a ton of messages. People are like, I didn't think of that. Just, you know how many people their deposits go into their same account they pay their bills from?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You mean you don't send your insurance money separate? Like the insurance money should go over here. Like Chick-fil-A, when they sell a chicken sandwich, it don't go into the account where the dude pays his bills.
Absolutely.
It goes into a business account. It don't need to be a formal business account. It should be a separate account.
Absolutely.
And depositing your money there and then paying for the leads or whatever expenses you got, business expenses first. And then what's left, I paid myself a salary weekly as long as there was money left.
Right.
Whereas most people deposit the money into their personal account, they pay their bills, and if there's anything left, they send it to their business expenses. I'm like, no, you got it backwards.
Yeah. I was one of those people.
Yeah.
That was me in the beginning,
Yeah.
I had to learn, and as I talked about that earlier today with a couple of agents, if you are writing 5 applications a week, I tell people that first application or that first commission check, 100%. That's not a profit.
No,
you need to put that back to your business.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe that second and third application that you write, they can start paying maybe your mortgage or your car notes, whatever the case may be. That fourth policy you write, set that aside for taxes or chargebacks.
Yeah.
And then that 5th policy, if you write that 5th policy, you got money left over, then you pay yourself. Yeah. And if you do that 4 times a week, you got a nice little nest egg. I had to learn that.
I remember having a setup where I had to auto transfer to a separate account to save up for taxes. Because the first year I got the bill, I was like, oh, interesting. All right.
Yeah.
I guess I should expect this every year. And then it became when taxes came in, I saved too much. I'm like, oh, I'll pay the taxes. I got leftover.
Yeah. Well, that's a good problem to have.
That was better. Yeah, that was way better. That was way better.
And I think the problem with a lot of insurance agents, there's just not too many people teaching that side of the business in the beginning. Now, we may be teaching how to write policies or how to help customers, but the admin side of it, the structure, I didn't learn that to around by year 2, to be honest with you.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I was taught that stuff early, dude. Now I make sure, obviously you do too. When you start working with agents, like, all right, we got to set up the basics first.
Yeah.
And I'm all about selling policies. I'm big on, you don't have to know everything before you go to work. I'm all about that too. But it's like, it's so easy to set up the basics.
Yeah. It is.
And be transparent about it. And it's like, why are we pretending clients aren't going to cancel?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Like, what are we doing?
It's going to happen. I don't care how great of a salesperson you are.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of
especially when you're new.
Yeah.
Now it does get better.
It does.
You got that diamonds on that ring I see flashing. You're out in your pool house doing it, which they don't know that. I know this because we were offline talking.
Yeah.
Out in the pool house doing a podcast. Life is good.
Yeah.
How do you advise agents make this sucker better, dude? Give them some sales stuff that's helped you out there with clients.
Sure. And what's the question again? How to make
Just
what
some
better?
sales stuff. Yeah. Meaning what advice can you give to people that you learned to be able to afford the lifestyle you have today and not have to go back to the job and pay for all the stuff you know what I mean? Like take care of your family the way you want to. You live a good life, dude.
Absolutely. But of course,
what do you think is important? Yeah, go for it. So many of you have asked if there's an option for more access, more direct coaching. And so we've created a coaching platform called the Winner Circle, where you have a couple different options. There is a one-on-one option to where we can work directly with you on a regular basis. And then there's a small group setting, 4 to 6 people, really high achievers looking to get to just a new level in their career. We've had a ton of success in this already. First month, actually the first guy that joined deposited $7,500. Worked with them back and forth, one-on-one. The very next month, he deposited over 30 grand. So basically a 5x return on his income in 30 days. So if you're looking for something like that, you can click on the link below, get access to an application, because I'm not taking everybody. I do want to make sure it's a good fit for both of us. And if we feel like you'd be a good fit, we'll set up a one-on-one call directly with me and kind of go through your struggles, what you need help with, and what I expect of people that are joining the coaching program. So if you feel like it'd be a good fit for you and something you want more of, click the link below and we'll see you on the other side. Welcome to the Winner Circle.
Yeah, I don't want to, curse nobody out, but hey, if I got to curse them out,
please do.
It's a whole lot of work. You got to work. WRK. Yeah. That's one thing I tell people all the time. No matter what company you're with, no matter what leads you have, or you're buying leads or you choose not to, everything is work. It just depends on how you're going to work it. Because it's not easy. It's not. And I give people like a simple formula when they first join the agency. Don't fall in love with commission. Fall in love with the process. I love Kobe Bryant and his mindset about the work ethic. So if you can make 1,000 dials your first 30 days, shoot for that. That's about 250 dials a week. And that is very low.
That is low
when it comes to dial count. But
hey, most don't do it though.
Most don't do it. That's why I want to keep it very simple. And most people can't do 250 dials, but you can do 250 dials. That's 1,000 dials a month if you do it every week. It's very low, very attainable. Yeah. Try to, get 50 no's. Go for no. That's the book says. Go for no.
That's a good book.
Don't have a yes go. Go for no. Let me get 50 no's, because with those 50 no's, I could write about 5 applications or 10. Once again, these are very low attainable goals. Yeah. If you could do that, you just kind of off. You could make anywhere between 5,000 to 10,000 your first month, but it's gonna be difficult. Most people's afraid of the word no. It's like boo, they run. Yeah. They didn't throw in your family. So do that. Track your business. Now, how many calls are you making a day? I remember when you and I was in Memphis and you asked that question, who made these dials? And people raised their hand and said, I made 80. You're like, in a week? Man, I made 150. And they were happy with those numbers. Yeah, and there was one individual. He said, hey, I think we were like it was a big number. It was like 1,000, something like that in 2 or 3 days.
That week. Yeah. And it was like Wednesday or Thursday, whatever day of the week. It was over 1,000 4 days into the week. Yeah.
And the way the people looked at him like he was the coming Messiah. You made 1,000? Mm-hmm. He just went to work.
That's it, dude. So, what's funny is what followed though right after that was how many applications did all y'all write? And weird, he had the most applications too.
Yeah. I think he said he was doing about 30,000 a month, in commission sales. Yeah. So that's one thing I would tell people. There's only a few ways you can get clients in this industry. And if you want to do the old traditional way, you can door knock. I mean, feel free to do that if you want to do that. You can cold call.
Yeah.
You
can. It beats what most do is doing nothing. You know what I mean? It's like if you don't have the leads, for instance, you don't have a budget, so it's like, okay, what are you doing instead of sitting at home complaining about it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're not prospecting through leads, prospect another way. There's a million ways to prospect.
It's a million ways. Now, it may be more challenging, but it works. the law of numbers always work.
Yes.
It's just challenging.
That's why I wrote it, bro.
Go. Yeah, do more now, get better later. Absolutely. But yeah, just put the work in. So that'd be the first thing. Second thing I would tell agents, just start developing, start growing. Become a student of your profession. Yeah. Whether you're going to be doing Medicare sales, become a student. Whether you're going to be doing final expense, whatever. Become a student. Get around, research it, associate, go to conference. Because you can start, meeting people much bigger than you. That's how I met you. My age is not where your age is at right now, but guess what? I'm picking your brain. I'm picking people's brains. I can learn. I can adopt that. Most people, they want to sit back and be the cool kid in school. When the teacher asks, "Hey, do anybody got a question?" And you don't know what she's talking about, but you're like, "Nah, I'm cool. I got it." Yeah. They're gonna make an F. Be that student that keep raising their hand. Hey, yes, I do have a question. And once you get the answer, you execute it. That's the difference. You got to execute what you learn. You got to do it like Nike. So that's what I would tell people. And it's just that simple. Is it easy? No, but it's very simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you say to the guy looking for the magic leads?
I would tell you, once you find them, let me know as well. They're not eating. You probably get that question all the time too, John. So what do you do this week? How did you do that? How many times we say the same answer that mentor says? Yeah. I just got leads and I called them. And I got a lot of no's and I got some yes. I got a lot of no's. I got some yes. We're not trying to turn, rocks into gold. We got to turn over enough rocks to find that gold. You got to turn over rocks. And it's hard for people.
It's true.
Yeah.
You ever watch those gold digging shows?
I haven't.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about or no?
Yeah. Well, I knew about the old gold rush back in the day.
Yeah. I haven't watched it in forever, but I have watched those. And this business is very similar. I mean, they make millions out of finding gold, essentially dust. They ain't even finding like big old nuggets. Rare. Mm-hmm. It's rare they find. They get one that's like that they can pick up the flake and they're excited. But for the most part, dude, they spend an obnoxious amount of money on trucks and labor and fuel and leasing land, traveling to wherever, because none of them, it's like Alaska or where Canada, wherever they go. And they literally dig through dirt and put it through this machine that sifts it out, separates the dirt from the gold floats or sinks or whatever. I don't know which one's heavier, which one's lighter, but it's a separator. And then they process so much dirt that a nominal percentage of gold comes out, but that number adds up.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing from you is that they invest first, then do the work, and they reap the reward later.
100%.
Right? And most people want to get the reward first and then do the work. And it just doesn't work like that.
I wish they would and they show, dude, they're working like it's about to be freezing cold out there. They're working overnight because they got a window like this before the ground freezes. So they're working 36-hour shifts and stuff. Like, it's nuts, dude.
Yeah.
And then you got agents over here making $82 a week being like, this is hard.
Like I just tell you, I'm doing a lot of construction of a home right now. And, the amount of work that they are doing, I said, I don't envy that. Yeah. Taking shingles on the roof, those shingles, it weighs a lot, It's hot here in Memphis. Yeah. But we talk about what we do is hard. We got to toughen up. It's not hard. I don't see it's a hard work.
Yeah. Are you running virtual appointments now or in-home?
Yeah, well, I do mainly virtual, Zoom. I like to see people. I have a lot of agents, and my agents, they do over the phone. But as I tell people, I have a Southern drawl. I need to make sure that you are resonating with what I'm saying. I read body language. I read facial expressions. Every now and then, I go to a person's home. If I want to get outside the house, and I'm like, hey,
mostly Zoom.
Mostly Zoom. I'll tell you a quick story. This happened about 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I had some agents saying that leads do not work. You've probably heard that before. These leads do not work. And I bought some real old leads, 2 years or 3 years old lead. Got 200 leads for about $50. And these people told me no, left, right, up, down, Spanish, English, a little explicits. Like they read my rights. I didn't care. I just kept dialing and dialing. I met one customer, and he says, I had been waiting for somebody to call me for 2 years. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. However, he said, I've been waiting. I said, well, man, you only live about 20 minutes from my home. I could do this over Zoom. I'll come out to you. It's no big deal for me. He said, will you come out? I said, yeah. It's no worries, man. It's a Sunday. I'll come out tomorrow. He said, come, I'll be here. So, of course, I drive out there. And once I pull into his his driveway, he comes out the door and greets me. I'm thankful for you. I'm so thankful. I said, I'm saying, man, just insurance. But to him, it's a life-saving rescue mission that he just got. So I get inside the house and I smell this good food cooking. He said, we're going to talk about the insurance later. But my wife, she's cooking for you right now. And she's cooking fried chicken. She's cooking cabbage, some hot water cornbread. I'm like, for me? I said, well, it's on a Sunday. I'm assuming you haven't ate. So why not? You're going to take care of me and my family. Let's take care of you. So I called my wife and said, hey, baby, don't worry about cooking today. These good folks to cook for me. She's like, nah. So I took the picture and I put them on speaker. She's like, you cooking for my husband? I said, yes. If this man gonna take time out of his day on a Sunday to help me and my family, the least we can do is cook a meal. That's why we do this. Yeah. I made $1,800 off that one policy. Took me about an hour. So those no's, right, that I got, it did not compare to that love for that one customer, that one family. Yeah. And that's why we do this.
Have you always been okay with the no's, or did you struggle with it? Like,
you know what?
Because I struggled, dude, at the beginning. I couldn't handle it at the beginning either. I was one of those that would like lose their mind, or like, I'd get in arguments with clients over it was bad. I was bad at the beginning.
I don't think the no's bother me, just no in general. I think over the phone he did, because once again, I came from retail. So you ever went inside a department store, we're going to ask you, hey, do you want our department credit card? No.
Yeah.
I went over 18. Yeah. So face-to-face, no, never bothered me. Over the phone, I think the hang-up was bothering me.
That hang-up bothered? Got it.
It bothered me. Hey, this just click. I'm a nice guy. Call him back. So the call back and the hang-ups challenged me the most. But the no's, that didn't bother me.
Yeah, that's good. It's funny. It's like at one point when I realized just after enough reps, you would get enough say it, like it would just work itself out. Like they eventually clicked to me that they were going to be averages.
Yeah.
I became pretty non-emotional about it.
Yeah.
And as I explained, like when I learned what I earn per phone call, regardless if they say yes or no, that certainly changed. What I didn't necessarily see coming, that I always explain to people, there's a lot of people that watch these that are like stuck. They're in the business. They make a few bucks. They pay their bills. They're not homeless, but they ain't killing it yet. Right. And they're still pretty emotional about stuff. You know what I mean? That mid-tier agent, kind of like where you had to go back to the job at that stage. And it's like I think they know they don't work enough, but they're afraid. Like it's this weird figured out stage, but they're super emotional about the no part yet. And they think eventually that goes away. And I'm like, if you see more people, like if you buy more leads, you're going to get more no's. Yeah. And if you sell, like you see someone in the industry, you're like, I wish I sold as many apps as them. Yeah. You're going to get more people that cancel. Yeah. And you're going to get more chargebacks. And you're going to get, you know what I mean? Like you deal with more stuff.
Yeah.
So I always try to explain to people, man, if you're struggling dealing with the stuff, buckle up. Because as you do more, you get more stuff. And as you build an agency, you get even more stuff.
Get more.
So it's like part of this is the process, like you mentioned earlier, of growing that thick skin and that ability to weirdly embrace the no's because you understand it leads you to good things, and embrace the struggles and the problems, because learning to solve problems pays really well.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
It talks about, the bigger the amount of income you make depends on how many problems you can solve.
That's true.
How many places you can spend.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I had to learn that too. People got small problems, but it may be large to them.
Yeah.
But they really got small problems that have a lower income.
Yeah.
New levels, new devils. I mean, it never goes away. It just always constantly growing, and you never make it. That's one of my pitfalls I learned in the past too.
Like that.
Once I made, my first 150,000, I thought I made it because I never made more than 65,000. And then I got a little over 200,000. Once again, I made it, and that's when I took my foot off the gas.
Yeah,
big mistake. I'll tell people because I started watching people who are making seven figures. And I'm making high six figures, but I never made seven figures, and they're outworking me. So I'm like, you know what? That's the only difference. Lean in. When you're in that peak, as you talk about the people who are struggling, you got to think valleys. When it's winter, think summer. And when it's summer, prepare for the winter. So when you're at that peak, you got to start preparing for that valley. So that's what I would tell them. So, but you're right. It gets, you become less emotional about the no's, but not going to erase the no's. It's going to always be there.
Yeah, I dig it. I love it. What do you mentioned earlier, bringing the wrong people into business with you? What does that look like today?
Man,
how do you decide?
Well, now I ask them what they're looking for. When I do my interview process, I just tell them, give me three things that you're looking for in the company. And once you see it, you're like, you know what? That's a good fit for me. Then I listen. And then I tell them, what I'm looking for. I get them four things I look for, which has always been the same. You got to be hardworking. You got to be willing to work on a team. And I use an acronym for team, which is together, everyone achieves more. I'm not really interested in the person on the only island. And you can do that, but I love community.
Yep.
Third, I look for, growth. Do you have a desire to grow? Because when I'm coaching people, I look at two things. Is it a skill or will? If it's a skill that they lack, and you chose to come to my agency, let me help you because you are on the conference calls, you are buying leads, you are working. You may just need some development, some skills. Okay, I can help you. But if it's a will, you're not willing to do it, there's nothing I can do with that.
Amen. That's a tough one, dude.
It is.
That's why I see a lot of people get stuck, bro, is they try to take those people who don't have it in them and they try to pull them and drag. It's so mentally exhausting. I was talking to some of my crew this weekend. They called me Sunday, and about this guy that I sent. And I'm like, hey, of course, they tell you all the right things at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
And then we put him through this program, this like boot camp, this process. Here's you learn A, B, C, D, whatever. And he wasn't really listening. He wasn't following it. And my crew was like trying so hard to get him to do the next step and basically begging him to put in the work that he ain't putting in. And I called him. I'm like, why are y'all, what do you just tell him it ain't a fit?
Yeah, it's okay too. And that's loving. I realize that, clarity is kind.
Yeah.
I'm not be a fit for you. Well, I'm going to be a fit for you, which is okay. And I would much rather you learn this sooner than later. Yeah. Versus I'm wasting your time. I'm trying to create something that's not there.
Yeah.
And that's not saying people can't change, but that would depend entirely on them and not on me. I used to have a Messiah complex. I could change him. If he kills me, I'm going to change him. And I almost died.
Yeah, buddy. I remember that. That was a struggle.
It is.
It's like, they can't get access to everything they want access to when they roll out of bed random Tuesday that they decide today's the day they're going to work. You know what I mean? It's like, put in the work and earn it. And then we'll be here to take care of you for sure.
Absolutely.
You said that I like the skill part because I agree. If you give me the work, the skill sets, the skill set on this thing is so easy to help people with. What do you see the most? The ones that give you the will, but don't have the skill. What are one or two tips that you can give people skill set wise that you tend to work on with people? I mean, what are some changes that you help people make? What up, y'all? Officially releasing my book. You can go on and order it now at johnwetmore.com or click the link below. It's where I go over the 6 basic principles I implemented to go from a struggling agent for my first couple years to issuing nearly $500,000 a month pen, go through stories and examples and exercises that you can do to implement for yourself. Appreciate it. Again, johnwetmore.com. Get yours. Later.
Yeah, a couple things we can do. The old, we always role play. But once again,
specifically, what do you work on? Like, give them
So if it's gonna be them trying to book the appointment, so I may work on a phone script. It may just be the tone, it may be the pace or the pitch. You may come across a bit salesy, right? So I don't know what that is. So this is an intro. If we get a lot of people that just hanging up on them or saying no, let's kind of work on that tone. If they're having a lot of no-shows, so you could book the appointment, but nobody show up, well, then it may be your tie-down. Let's kind of work on that. Are you really make sure that they know your time is valuable and you value them? Are they really writing down your name? Are they really locking in that time and that day? You use calendars for the reminders, but are you really locking down that appointment? So that may have been a phone script. If they could call the leads and they book the appointment, and now they are sitting with people, so their sit ratio is high, but now it's a close ratio. I could sit with 10 people and I'm closing maybe 1. Yep. But then I got to train on an in-home presentation. Are you really being engaging? Are you listening and asking questions versus making statements? What I mean by that, I could tell you, John, this is why you need this policy. I'm going to tell you why you need this policy, John, because you got a wife and you got a kids and you want to die. They're going to be up a creek. You want to buy this?
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Or I could ask you, what would it look like if you were to die, today? How would that affect your family? Tell me about that. Then they start selling me on why they need that policy. So it could be an in-home presentation. So it just depends on their journey, where they at. Mm-hmm. And that's why we track the business. I track to see how many dollars they're making. Because it could be a work ethic. Then I had to track it. Hey, how many appointments I booked? What is my sit ratio on these appointments, and what's my close ratio? So then that way I could pinpoint where I need to kind of laser focus the training. If it's recruiting, then that's a whole different conversation as well. But if it just sales, it's one or the other. Over the phone, booking the appointment, locking down the appointment, or closing the sale. And I can kind of coach in those specific directions.
Makes sense. We so for those that certainly tracking is a big piece of what I do. If you go to the site, I think you go to johnwetmore.com/tracker, they'll put the link here. I actually give one out free. Mm-hmm. To where they can track appointments, all the stuff, all the important stuff. And it's like every time I have someone struggling, I'm like, hey, give me the last 2 months numbers. Right? I want to know how many phone calls you made. How many appointments you booked, how many sales you made, how much you invested in leads,
right?
And the premium. Give me those for like August and September, separate numbers.
Right.
And every time I do it, dude, they'll send them to me. And I get on the phone. I'm like, so do you know why? A lot of times I don't even have to say it. A lot of times they'll be like, I know why you made me do this. Yeah.
Do you get the agent who be reluctant to give you the numbers?
The ones, yes, because they know they're that bad. 100%, dude. But it tells a story, and it tells exactly where they need help. Like you said, it's very easy to see when you put it on paper. And I always find it funny, man, how few people know their stuff.
Yeah. I'm
like, you don't know what? Like you don't keep track of nothing? Every time I go to like a business, you see people track. Like I go to the chiropractor and they have a little sheet that they keep track of how many people showed up that day. When you go to Dunkin' Donuts, my kids, they have Dunkin' Donuts in the same spot as like the ice cream place. Baskin Robbins, I think. It's one store for both. And when you go on the inside, right above the drive-through window, it tracks how many clients came through the drive-through that day. Like even the 16-year-old at Dunkin' Donuts knows their numbers.
Yeah.
And then you ask grown adults here, like, how much did you invest? How many calls did you make last month? And they don't know nothing. I'm like,
you know what? And which is crazy because, when I used to work for AT&T, we had a customer counter. So I'm familiar with that.
Yeah.
And when I became an agent, I didn't track. I just assumed, imagine that, and that's what I meant by, hey, you can learn how to sell, but do you learn but can you learn how to become a business and know your numbers, know how much you get paid per dial, even if they don't answer, know what is your sit ratio, what is your close ratio, your investment, because if you try to present a business to a person, a business proposal, they're going to want to know data. So.
I'll give the flip side of it a little bit because those that watch, I just want to make sure I give some clarity on it. Like close ratio, all that stuff. To be clear, on a Monday afternoon, that shit don't matter.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what your close ratio is tomorrow. Like, no one cares. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But when you track tomorrow, but you do it over time. Now, again, if you made 12 phone calls tomorrow, that's bad.
Absolutely.
But if you go 0 for 10 tomorrow, it doesn't mean the lead sucked. You just might have sucked that day.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like, but what tracking every day does is over time, it does paint a picture.
It does.
You look at it after 90 days, 6 months, 12 months, bro, you start seeing some averages. And now like, if I input A, B is going to spit out. Dude, that's what became lethal in this business to me, is understanding that.
Absolutely. And then that's how people start getting their emotions under control, right? I tell people, one day does not make a week. 1 week does not make a month. 1 month does not make a quarter. And 1 quarter does not make a year.
Yeah.
So you just, you have hunting and gathering, plantings, reaping. It's a season. All right. Mm-hmm. Now I prefer that your season of planting should not last 6 months. You should have some, reap some. But once again, you got to know your numbers. You got to do the work. Yeah. Going back to what you mentioned with those people hunting gold. Yeah. They did the work first. That they invested first. They got the land first. If you build it, then it will come. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes though they go out there and they dig a big old hole and they spend a whole week digging out this area and then filtering the dirt out, and at the end they got like no gold. But then the following week they found a spot and they hit like a vein and they kill it. You know what I mean? It's like it's part. Even when I sold 460 grand in a year premium, dude, every day didn't go perfect. I promise you that. A lot of bad days.
And that's the journey. That's the fun part. Could you imagine if you just have happy days every day and peak days? You won't appreciate it.
There's no such thing really, because that'd become the norm and that'd be the bad side. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love it. So you need that. You need the up and down. So I love peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
Just kind of reduce those valleys,
I agree. Yeah, I mean, you want to do your best to not have as many, but knowing they ain't never going to go away. It's like baseball, dude. You ain't never going to get rid of strikeouts. It's never going away. In the history of baseball, strikeouts will never go away.
Yeah.
It's just part of it.
But if you bat 300, you're going to the Hall of Fame.
Heck yeah, you do it long enough, you are.
Yeah, you're like, come on now, that means that I would have hit it 3 out of 10 times.
Yeah, you do that for 10 years.
That's the Hall of Fame.
You'll know your name.
Absolutely.
So is this.
Yeah. It's amazing when you just do a little bit of work in whatever industry, you become, the status quo.
It's true.
And then people break through that ceiling. Michael Jordan, was the pinnacle. And some people still say, no, he's the greatest. And, I can see that. But, he was the pinnacle of basketball. Mm-hmm. Just going by numbers alone, man, LeBron has shattered, his numbers. Not necessarily a better basketball player if you're looking at overall performance, but just number-wise, he took Jordan numbers and accelerated.
You start an argument now.
Yeah.
Jordan, LeBron. Y'all comment, Jordan or LeBron. I'm a Jordan all day long. It's not even close to me.
You know what? I'm a Kobe, so
I like Kobe. I ain't mad at that.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at that.
Guy, so
I'm mad at Kobe. I'd go Jordan and Kobe before LeBron, personally.
Yeah. I still go with Kobe. Jordan, and that's a whole different debate,
It is.
Who's better. But it's just pure data. Yeah. LeBron numbers beat Jordan and Kobe numbers. Yeah. We ain't talking about the finals. We ain't talking about,
just points and all that stuff.
Points, assists, longevity.
Yeah, he's been in the league a long time.
Yeah. He beat the numbers.
Yeah.
But
it's all subjective who's the best. But I do want to know. They're going to ignore all the good stuff we talked about and just want to talk about this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to hear.
That was a great podcast. And I would go with Kobe. Like, that's how you got 100%. From that?
100%.
But the point is, whatever that bar has been set, anyone can break it. The bar is not that permanent.
Yeah.
It's just a measuring stick. It's a measuring stick. We can all get better, and that's what I look forward to.
When sometimes I hesitate when I say what I saw is I'd be like $460,000, and in today's world, that's not that much. When I did it, dude, it was like no one was doing that kind of volume. Very few people. I was fourth in the country at our company at the time.
Yeah.
So there were only 3 others that sold it even. But today, do we have I was looking at the other day, I shared it with someone. Our top 50 are already through September. I was looking at September through September year to date. Our top 50 were over $400,000 already.
It's crazy.
It's just a different game now.
I know. I mean, granted, driving across country like you and I used to do. You know, like back in my day, we had to do this. And we all talk about and this one thing I want people to know: the best insurance agent has not been discovered yet. Like you said, what was your ceiling is not people's floor.
Yeah, that's true. 100%.
Yeah, we got this new agent. He's not in my agency, but he's been with the company now. He started back in July. So July was the first month. His first month, he did $28,000, commission, right? Mm-hmm. And his second month, which was August, he brought home $170,000. That was my year, my third year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, all the time now. Yeah, it's become the norm.
It becomes
in today's world.
So let me ask you this: what would you tell a person now? Why should I join insurance?
One, I don't know that you should join insurance.
Okay.
Honestly, maybe you shouldn't. You know what I mean? Leave more for us because we'll take it. You stay the hell out of it and we'll stay in it.
Yeah.
No, dude, I think the reality is, again, the industry's been around y'all Google it. It's been around the way we know it for damn near 200 years. Yeah. 150 years, however long these companies, Mutual of Omaha's of the world, they've been around forever. But even if you go there's documents of it, and I'm not a big Bible guy, but I know that there's insurance references in there even back then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like there were how do you say it? I don't know the right word. Things that seem similar back then.
Okay.
There's a word I was trying to use. One of y'all will know it. Semblances. I don't know the word.
I'm gonna let the theologians do that.
Yeah. I'm not good with words. So I use it. There were things, but what I do know is, dude, leads are never gonna go away. And I don't mean leads like you buy Facebook from so-and-so. I mean like human beings who are looking for coverage. They're never gonna stop dying and they're never gonna stop being born.
Absolutely.
In insurance, they know the stats. They know the actuary science behind it. Mm-hmm. They know what the profitability levels are. This business is not going anywhere. And the people in the fancy ass buildings downtown in every big city, they ain't coming out to sell.
Yeah.
So they're going to pay us to sell. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not one that, certainly there are changes.
Yeah.
But the basics of what it is, you pay a premium, you die, you get covered. You don't, you know what I mean? All the benefit, those things aren't changing, dude.
It's not.
And most people aren't cut out for it. Most people aren't cut out for most sales.
Yeah.
But this is a different game, dude. And if you got what it takes to put in the work, this business, the money's in this business. I don't if anyone's confused by that, you under a rock.
Yeah.
Banks and insurance companies, you go downtown, every building is a bank or an insurance. You know what I mean? It's like, that's what there is.
Yeah.
And how the banks are in insurance behind the scenes. All the way it works. So it's, again, if you're looking for opportunity, financial services is where it's at. And, but if you're looking for that easy, get rich quick, I'm going to roll out of bed and just stay in real estate, doing what you're doing.
Yeah. This is not for those type of people, but that's what makes it so great for those who do decide to do it. If they have what it takes. And like you mentioned that sales is not for everybody. I can remember when I was manager at AT&T, and these people had a salary plus commission. They still had a hard time coming to work. Yeah. They still had a hard time coming to work on time. We had a goal of selling direct TV. You only had to do 6 a month. And we had a customer flow coming every day. The same people hit their goals and the same people got rolled up.
100%.
They had the same opportunity and the same product. So it really just depends on the individual.
Yeah.
It really does.
It ain't the next shiny object. If you're a shiny object seeker, just keep it moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you're looking for a real opportunity, I mean, I just see how many people in the business have made it. And it's every company, it's every line of insurance, it's every style. I don't care if you do leads, friends and family, you prospect, you do white collar, you do high end, you wear a suit and tie, you wear flip flops. There's money in all of it. I know people at every company in every style of insurance, and there's someone rich at every one of them. It
is. It all work. Yeah. So the common denominator is what I work.
Yeah,
that's the thing. You know, if I could work it, but yeah, it's a beautiful industry, but it would take hard work, and that's one thing I do want to get across. To your listeners and whoever, like, kind of prepare and be mentally tough, because it can be challenging. So we got to grow. Read a book, and then one day you write a book like John.
Yes, go get it. You want to get it.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
If are you online, if they want to find you, where do people follow you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram. I believe it's John_Patricia Clayton on Instagram.
We'll put the link too.
Okay, yeah, I can tell you. TikTok, I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn.
Everywhere.
I'm out there now. Yeah.
Speaking at events, I see you.
Speaking at events, I will be doing one here in Memphis, November 16th. Okay. So that's coming around, the corner, about 2 or 3 weeks. So I will be there.
Love it, dude.
Yeah, I'll be hosting that one. So,
cool.
So yeah, I'm excited.
Well, get after it, brother. Appreciate you getting on and sharing. And we'll be in touch. If I can help you, obviously, let me know. And to those that watch, we appreciate you. Go subscribe and like us and do all that shit. And we'll see you at the next one.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity. I really enjoyed it, John. Yeah, it was a pleasure speaking with you, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate it, brother. Keep at it, dude. We'll talk soon.
All right. Have a good one.
Later.